Hey guys, Joan and Joe back with another requested Link Evolution deck profile. This deck was actually requested quite a while ago, so apologies for the wait, but it did pay off as it took me time to discover a sick tech for ritual decks. Cyber Angels are a ritual deck used by Alexis from GX and ArcV, and I do have a video on how the deck operated before the update. With the update we got a few new cards, but honestly the spice in this deck comes from Zaborg the Mega Monarch. Originally I saw Zaborg in a recent Chaos Max video on YouTube and figured it would be an amazing option in Cyber Angels and any ritual decks who pretty much use the Impcantation engine. I don't know who discovered it first or where the credit is due, but it is amazing regardless. The main play with Zaborg is to tribute summon him using light monsters and then popping a light monster on the field to trigger his effect to send extra deck monsters to the graveyard, depending on the level of the monster you pop. Ideally you would tribute your incantation monsters, but your other main deck monsters and even Cyber Angels work themselves. While running into light decks isn't always guaranteed, the cool thing is that Zaborg can pop himself, effectively sending 8 monsters from each extra deck to the graveyard. Not only does this completely shut down some decks who rely on certain extra deck monsters, it enables you to send Elder Entity Natasha to the grave to pop 3 cards on your opponent's field, and send Herald of the Arclight to add 3 ritual cards to the hand. It's quite nuts as you'll see in the replays, and it helps search all of your ritual pieces to destroy the opponent. While Zaborg is amazing enough, we do need to discuss the Cyber Angels themselves since I did it in the last video. Before only Dakini and Mirage were in the game, but now with the update we received Cyber Angel Izana. Izana, like Dakini, is a level 8, and instead of sending monsters to the grave, she can send spells or traps instead without targeting. If she destroys a monster, she can attack another monster as well, giving her some nice board clearing potential if she is boosted by Idaten. Idaten and Benten are still important Cyber Angels, as by tributing Benten you can search any fairy such as Archlord Kristya, and by tributing Idaten you can boost all of your ritual monsters by 1000 attack and defense, which can get quite relevant for Dakini and Izana. In all honesty though, my favorite Cyber Angel is Natasha, as this thing is so annoying. Not limited to once per turn, Natasha can banish another angel from your graveyard to revive itself and take control of an opponent's monster permanently. It can also gain life points equal to half the attack of one of your monsters, making those extra foolish burial costs a little cheaper. Constantly using this to steal monsters and link them away is absurd sometimes if your opponent doesn't have an answer for it, so it's definitely something I like setting up for on turn 1 to use on the following turn if I have 1 or 2 angels in the grave. We got some decent support cards in the update, but you'll notice I'm not running some of them. Cyber Egg Angel and Merciful Machine Angel didn't make the list mainly because the spell conflicted with Pot of Extravagance. I ended up cutting Extravagance for extra foolish burial however, so you could try out a ratio of 2 Egg Angel, 2 Petit Angel, and 1 Merciful Machine Angel, and Ritual Sanctuary if you want to try those cards. They didn't seem necessary as Merciful only really works with Benten best anyway, but you can give it a shot. There are a couple of preference options you can make with Manju versus Gale Dobra, or Extra Foolish Burial versus Pot of Extravagance, but I didn't take the time to test different ratios or cards, as I had a lot of fun with the list I had on stream. The extra deck is personal preference again, especially if you choose to run Extravagance. With the Impcantations it becomes rare to go into the extra deck anyway, but you'll see me have a couple of opportunities in the video. Unfortunately in the replay on screen, we didn't have an Incantation play without searching with Petit Angel, so we couldn't show off our Zaborg tech yet. Because of that, I'm just going to settle with a somewhat basic route of going into one of our boss Cyber Angels and getting some offensive going. Izana felt like the better choice here as our opponent's deck has more threats with their skills and spells over their monsters, but sadly we don't get to choose what spell we get rid of. Tributing Benten for Idaten is almost always preferred as you get 2 searches, so you can save using Idaten as a tribute for your stronger angels. Thanks to the Impcantation ritual spell, it has a nice secondary effect to let you get another summon when it is in the graveyard, getting you another valuable search. I usually like discarding it with the Chalislime ritual, but this works just as well. Sadly I do misplay here since I tributed the Impcantation from my hand instead of the field, which would have gotten me a Knightmare Phoenix play or Herald of Mirage Lights. This would have prevented the attempted board clear that Endymion would be guaranteed to get on his next turn. Regardless, we'll just swing with what we can and wait for our next turn. We did slow our opponent down a little as he would need one of his lower skills to pendulum summon, but he still does have the Endymion summon effect. Outside of that though, things aren't too bad, especially since we have Machine Angel Ritual in the grave for protection, so he won't be able to clear our whole board. Losing Izana is expected as she can provide some slight protection if she is left on the field, but our opponent makes a funny move in activating Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Normally this card would be concerning, but I remember laughing on stream once I saw this because he has no idea what he is in for. Zaborg is finally here by tributing our light monsters, but sadly Endymion is not a light monster, so we have to pop Zaborg himself. This duel is officially over at this point as our opponent is in top deck mode and will soon have no board or extra deck for the most part. Important thing I do want to note is that you can choose the chain order of the effects you activate, simply going by the order in which you select the cards to send. I'm not used to doing this, so I forget quite frequently, but it can be good to know for plays like this if your opponent might have a negate or something. With the 3 searches from all 3 Herald of the Arclights, we have game no matter what. That's it for me though. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the replays, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.